Gary Rogers, one of the great personalities in pit lane. Happy birthday, Gaz, from all of us here at Fox Sports. And as you can see, it is time to go racing here at Queensland Raceway. So let's hand it over to Matt Nolte now, calling all the action in the Touring Car Masters.
Thank you, Jess. A big happy birthday to Gary Rogers. A couple of years ago, he brought out a heap of his old race cars here at Queensland Raceway. Richard Crowley might remember that day up there too, but we'll celebrate for him by bringing the Touring Car Masters out.
I think Gary Rogers should join the Touring Car Masters in one of those old race cars, but that's probably a story for another day. So this is the TCM Trophy race. The top 55% of the grid is reversed and then sent to the back for their efforts. And as a result, we've got Cameron Mason and Shannon O'Brien starting on the front row. This could be feisty, Matt.
This will be cool. Nonetheless, Rusty French returns to racing this weekend aboard the number 4 car. He starts on the second row. We start to edge towards the back, row 9 and row 10. Gomersall and Abelnika, Johnson and Bow from 20th position.
So if you haven't seen one of these races before, 25 points to start, 25 to finish. So it only affects the championship if you either don't start or don't finish. Tomorrow's 2 races are the money races for the championship score in Touring Car Masters. This one is just to get some new names at the front, and haven't we got that today? Eddie Abelnika, who qualified 3rd earlier on, starts this one from 18th position. Cameron Mason gets an elevation to the front row of the grid.
The other onboard cameras with Alan Bowledge, and if you have just joined us for the weekend, you'll see some exciting pictures coming out of that Mercury Comet over the next 12 laps. Rolling start for the Touring Car Masters here in Queensland. A magnificent afternoon once again. Shannon O'Brien and Cameron Mason. He's looking forward to later in the year when he heads to his home track in Newcastle for the Kotaya Newcastle 500 to end this year's series. I love the rolling starts.
Watch out for Leo Tobin on the second row. He's in that bright orange Mustang. It's a Boss Mustang, 1970. It's got the 302 Ford V8, but that means it's a little bit lighter. It looks after its tyres better compared to the 5.8 litre cars in the field, especially the one next to him in Rusty French. And Leo has been in career best form this weekend. Watch for him to have a big performance from the second row. This is a cool moment, Matt. Rolling starts in Touring Car Masters here at Queensland Raceway.
Crank up the volume at home. The Kotaya drone cam will give us some cool pictures over this next 12 laps at Queensland Raceway. It's Mason and Shannon O'Brien as we go green here in race number 1, the trophy race, the Touring Car Masters, and O'Brien goes nowhere.
And Alan Bowden goes everywhere, right to the front of the field in the Mercury Comet. He's gone P3 behind Rusty French. I wonder if Shannon O'Brien just had wheel spin there on the rolling start. Went backwards quickly.
Here's Abelnika just feathering the throttle patiently. The moment they stack up, and he's been hit from behind, I think, as well. Around goes Darren Bill, and Abelnika just appears from nowhere. And it's Bruce Williams that's in the tyre wall. We talked about it during qualifying, and that is big damage to the AC Delco Tirana.
Yeah, that's done for the weekend, Bruce. Door flung open, so he's okay. These cars are unbelievably safe, but that's big damage. You can hear the crunch from onboard Eddie Abelnika's camera. That's going to be a long recovery. It's a long way into the tyres with a huge amount of damage in the front. And Bruce automatically unplugs himself from his car. Wow. What happened there? Unseen by us. We were on board the Melbourne's cheapest cars, Falcon, going through turn 2. You heard a crunch and then cut to a shot of a Tirana perched against the tyres with an enormous amount of damage to the front corner.
Imagine if that was raw concrete that he got. Look at it.
Oh, man.
These are tough cars, but that is huge damage. We had a moment during qualifying today where he steered the car off, and there's a wall on the left-hand side that he avoided by feet. This time, we'll take a look at the replay of the restart. So O'Brien going nowhere there. Bowden was contact there too between Tobin. Now someone looked back there blowing smoke in the background. Initially,
Bressington, I think.
It was Bressington. What happens here?
So this will tell us. So blue Tirana, right hand of screen, now in the middle. He's 3 wide with Bow on the outside, Bob Wisely in the middle. So it all just checks up in front, and he drills the back of Eddie Abelnika and then does the same to the fence. So he got the side of the tyres. So where the tyre wall start, he clipped that, and that's what's done a lot of the damage. The initial impact with Abelnika was large, but the damage has come when he's hit the tyres.
That was Beal. Maybe slight contact with O'Brien, hard to tell. And Williams taking evasive action,
man,
but clipped Eddie Abelnika.
Stopped so quickly. That would have rattled his cage a little bit.
This will be the shot. So it's contact Keith Kasulki and Hansford as well in the background of that shot. how everyone didn't experience, we won't know. And then, oh man. Huge hit for the AC Delco Tirana.
So it got the concrete just before where he was aiming at early on in qualifying when he came off the road. So everyone's checked up behind. Darren Beale spins. Everyone checks up. So it launches off the rear wheel of Abel Nika's car, and then it's fired across the road just before they get to the tyres. Great save from Eddie A. He was lucky to not end up more involved in that and perhaps end up in the wall. So there's Bruce right of screen, AC Delco Tirana. He'll clip the back of Eddie Abel Nika now, launches him into the air. He's lost control from here, and he's heading towards the concrete. And then he gets a combination of concrete wall and the tyres on the side, which has caused all that damage to the right front corner of that AC Delco Tirana. Fortunately, he climbed out under his own steam, but that's going to be an enormous job to get that car back. Fortunately, a long break between rounds. Our next stop for Touring Car Masters is at Sandown. And we understand, Matt, a puncture for Eddie Abel Nika, which is completely understandable because his left rear corner had a Tirana parked in it.
And he was lucky not to go into the wall either. The Melbourne's cheapest cars entry were on board when that happened. Here it is. We jump on board with Fast Eddie. Coming from near back of the field. Now he splits through a few cars here going down into turn number 1. That's King on the inside. On the outside is Ryan Hansen. Now he makes contact. What's just going through here? Also, gets to him initially.
Good catch from Hansford.
Then he hits Kasuki further up. Now listen for this. He stacks up. There's the contact, and off went Eddie. Wall would be on the left-hand side just there. He steers it back out, but the Tirana was in the wall behind him.
And this is him coming into pit lane, so he's put a new left rear tyre on that car. So when we cut to that shot of Bruce, with all the damage on the front, I was surprised because I thought he'd only hit Abel Nika. See him go into the wall. So this is Boucher. He got a brilliant start. So he's third at the moment. Fighting with Rusty French, which I have no doubt will delight him. He's got the world's most relaxed driving style for a car that's 400 feet long. Yeah.
Even in sideways. So that's the positive part of that start. He's up to third place now, but Bruce Williams, we won't see that car back for the weekend. So we're under the Vodafone safety car right now, and great recovery to get this car on the back of the tilt train. There's the remaining tyre out of the number 48 car.
Hey guys, just thought you'd have a look at the left rear wheel that came off Eddie Abel Nika's car, and there's a very familiar face that was well and truly underneath the left rear, and that's Glenn Seaton here. Glenn, it's not all happy hunting out there though. Again, it sounds like there's a bit of a problem still with the car.
I don't think so. It's Eddie says it feels okay. It's just having a little rub on the guard. So this being a reverse grid, it's important to finish because you get 25 points where it doesn't matter where he finishes as long as he finishes.
Your sprinting style's fantastic too. I saw you have a good old run out there.
Well, I tried for Olympic Games, but I didn't make it, so I took up motor racing instead.
Mate, being on the Spanners is great. Do you ever miss being out in this category though?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And one day I might get back there, hopefully. But at this stage, my focus is Aaron with his racing, and if I can help him as much as I can and get him to where he needs to be, that'll be much more rewarding than me running around out there in this.
Mate, and getting under the back of Eddie A's car as well. I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Glenn Seaton might be breathing a sigh of relief. He wasn't out there in that race. It's a sad sight. We don't like seeing Tiranas or any race cars on the back of tilt trays.
Bruce, who 12 months ago actually to this weekend took over publishing Auto Action magazine, is going to have to sell a few of them in the next few weeks, I think, to pay for the repair of the AC Delco Tirana. It's a massive shame. Les Small built this car, put a lot of work into it, beautifully engineered bit of machinery. Very, very good race car. Bruce had never been here before, so was learning the racetrack, was surprised that it was more difficult than it looked, that so many drivers have talked about that every time they've come to Queensland Raceway. They've now got a very big job to do. Having said that, we saw the damage repaired from that Winton crash earlier in the year. Know it can be done. Hopefully they can get this car right for Sandown, which is the next round. So the
Vodafone safety car continues the round. And lap 3 in the books, these laps count towards this race. The lights will go out. And this will give us some green flag racing. Mason, French and Alan Bougen. It's a different looking top 3. It's a reverse 55% from qualifying. Vodafone Porsche safety car heads back into the pits. And now Mason will lead this field with Rusty French on his return to the Touring Car Masters. And the big Mercury Comet as we take the restart here in race 1 of the Touring Car Masters.
No substitute for horsepower is there. What a sight. The field now nicely spread out in the run into turn 1. Good restart for Cameron Mason. Rusty French in second, Bowden third, Tobin next, but under pressure. Come looking up the inside. There's John Bower, who's made these races an art form as he's stormed through the field. So that's Shannon O'Brien, who's worked his way through, who's very sideways on the exit of 2. And now Leo Tobin looks down the inside of Bouchen.
Get the pass done here. Oh, look at Shannon O'Brien from a long way back too. This will be a cool shot from the drone cam, the Coates Hire drone cam here into turn number 3. O'Brien won't do it there. Be on the better line though on the run down to turn number 4. They'll go side by side. Head on down into turn 4. So Mason already 1.3 seconds ahead of Tobin, Bouchen and Garwood.
Bressington's made a lot of room, a lot of ground, I should say, as well. He's up to 6th place in the White Line Racing Chevy Camaro. It's a good drive through the field for him. It's Leo Tobin. So they've taken 90 kilos of weight out of that number 46 Mustang before this round. He said to me yesterday, I could not believe how much better the car was to drive. So much more balance with less weight over the front axle of that car. Said if I'd known that, I would have gone on a diet sooner. It's advice we should all probably take at some point or another.
Exactly. Looks like I dropped 90 kilos like that. That was a great pass from O'Brien on the outside of Tobin down into the final turn. Rarely do you see that happen. Puts him up another position now into 3rd after starting from the front row. Bowers up to 11th position now. There's Hansford down the inside of Jeff Fain making his debut, and now Bow does the same thing, albeit taking it very cautiously through turn 2.
So Bow and Stephen Johnson will start tomorrow's race, the championship races, from the front row of the grid, having been split by 0.03 of a second. It was the 4th closest margin in the history of the Series 1 and 2. As Shannon O'Brien continues to work his way to the front of the field. Started from the front row, slipped back with a strange start, but now he's racing his way to the front. He's putting Rusty French under some serious pressure.
Here's Bouchen. He'll have Shannon O'Brien somewhere around him here, right out there. Really thinking about it down the inside. Steering work on this 97 car. I'm glad we whacked an onboard camera in this car. Produced some great shots in the very first practice session, there it is. It's over for Eddie Abelnica. What a shame.
It's been a rough day for him. Qualified really well. This race has not gone to plan. And check this out, side-by-side racing. Pontiac Trans Am, smoking the Bandit style versus Rusty French's amazing Ford Mustang. And Rusty's going to hold on to that spot. And this is all good news for Cameron Mason, because the longer these two scrap, the more he stays in front. And John Bow, easy as a light, gets 2 cars in one as he goes past Bouchen and Ryan Hansford. So turning into turn 1, do you know what that looks like, Matt? That looks like another tyre going down. So we heard Cameron mention that actually there's no fire in that engine, so that's shut down and almost like it locked the rears. That's a strange one for Eddie Abelnica. I was wondering if it might have been a tyre that had gone down as he turned in.
That guard still didn't look like it was away from that tyre.
And Cam did mention in pit lane that it was rubbing on, so it might have cut that as he turned the car in. What a place to do it too.
Great job to pull it up.
Yeah, 1,750 odd kilos of XB Falcon turning into turn 1. We see spectators gravel and wow, red iron heading towards them.
But it won't hurt his overall championship points. It's been at 25 points, but those valuable points would have been for finishing the race, like Len Seaton touched on an interview with Cameron Vanderdungen down in the pits. It continues on here now. Outside move here for Adam Bressington in the white line transport entry on Leo Tobin. Going against all the wrong moves today. They're trying the outside, it's paying off. His Hoosier tyres are very strong. As Bow continues to carve his way through the field. He's up to 8th position now. Bressington runs in 5th.
Good pass around the outside of one there on Leo Tobin. Really good move. So skated around the outside. There's Ryan Hansford as well. Let's check this out. Oh, this is terrific. So Rusty French left of screen. Shannon O'Brien, who we've seen more of his driving gloves today than anyone else because they've always been dialing in opposite lock. That Trans Am Pontiac, local hero, and now he's closing in on Cameron Mason, our race leader. The Coates Hire drone cam is showing us that. It's a World Championship 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th going on behind them.
Just imagine Charlie O'Brien's in the pits going, that's how you drive these cars. Down to turn 4. So Bressington on a charge here, isn't he? Up to Third position now. Rusty French to fourth, and Leo Tobin with John Bow from the back. This has been a great move by TCM this year to make this race the first one of the weekend. Each one has been a classic this year.
Here's the battle for the lead. Cameron Mason now defending from serious pressure from Shannon O'Brien. Cameron Mason has crossed the line first in a TCM race before, but he had it stripped from him for jumping a restart. Wow, O'Brien pulls out, got a great run out of the final corner. It was almost sideways in a straight line. Oh, now he's sideways on the exit of the corner, and Mason looks back up the inside. What a scrap.
Where do you look at this field? It's happening everywhere in this race.
Oh, he's finally through. That's the most sideways move I've ever seen. And now Garwood. So Adam Garwood, we didn't see him qualify, mate. He broke a transmission in that car. So they've changed it between sessions, and he started right from the back in this. So he's now got himself up to P2.
And better tyres, considering he didn't turn a lap in that session. So gets himself up to second and chases down Shannon O'Brien. The two-time race winner now is Adam Garwood, and they've all been in these races.
I'll correct myself there. He did actually start this one from 9th. So despite, he did set one lap in qualifying, which means he did set a time, which means he was allowed to take part in that inversion to set the grid for this one. So apologies to all of the Tasmanians watching on. The local driver, that's Keith Kasuki off the road in the HQ GTS.
He was caught up that bump with Ryan Hansford on the first lap. Here's Alan Bowgen. Cameron Tilley going past him as well as he hits that aggressive curve on the right-hand side. Deep and throaty sounding Mercury Comet down to the final turn. Watch on the exit. 2 turns of the wheel to get around the corner. And watch the way it just snaps sideways as he had enough of doing that. I think he has for the moment. It's time to get serious.
I think because he's got a bunch of cars parked up behind him, he's trying to drive a little bit sensibly in this and not have so much fun until the cool-down lap. Gomersal now on Leo Tobin, and that will be the fight for 8th and 9th place. So Jason's just been pretty conservative. Big Mate Racing Tirana, he'll jump out of this car very quickly and run down right to the pit entry end of the Virgin Australia Supercars pit lane, because his driver, Todd Hazelwood, will be taking part in his first supercar race very, very soon. Expressed an interest in that.
It was Hansford going down the inside of French.
Garwood in front, Matt. So Adam Garwood has jumped to the top. He's made these races an art form, this category. Tirana driver, they've moved back to Holden Power this weekend. Do you get the feeling, though, that maybe Shannon O'Brien won't make this particularly easy?
Absolutely.
He's been driving this 26 car so well. And we've got 4 laps to go on the clock. Lost a bit of time with the safety car, and we understand the race will be time certain. So he will be running out of time. What a drive from Garwood. So the Camaro should be a little bit quicker in a straight line. As I say that, the Tirana pulls away, of course. It's got more capacity, should have more horsepower.
So this is it. This will be his last chance for O'Brien. You think turn 3 and turn 6 are really the only big chances he'll have. He glues himself to the back of the flexible drive Tirana of Adam Garwood, snaps it sideways once again. It continues to go sideways.
Sprint cars don't get that sideways.
No way.
The wheel work's extraordinary. So Garwood defends on the run into turn 3. That thing's getting really good drive out of the corners, and O'Brien sends it, locks it up, and he'll fire it off the road. Well, he had a really big go. It turned out it was just a little bit too big.
That was huge. That matches his one from practice yesterday. And now Garwood has been released. He'll look in the mirror and go, oh, thank goodness that's over.
Where'd he go? Wow, Bressington and Bow are fighting over 3rd place in this. That was wild.
And Bowers got himself up into the top 5, Bressington into 3rd. But this guy, he picked up the race win at Winton in race number 3, finished 2nd in the final race on the streets of Adelaide earlier this year. We told you to keep an eye on this kid. He's going to be something big in the future. And Adam Garwood picks up another win in the trophy race here at Ipswich.
Great drive, Cameron Mason. Best finish of the year so far. Picked up a lot of support from Newcastle since the Coates High Newcastle 500 was announced. He wanted to acknowledge that, and he'll be really happy with P2. Led a lot of the race, and Adam Bressington home in 3rd. Well, that was about as wild as they come in Touring Car Masters. Have a look at this. He got a really good run out of the corner. Garwood's thing seems pretty good mid-straight, so it pulls away. It might have a little bit more torque, the Holden V8, and then O'Brien just sent it. He was going to go around the inside, the outside, whether he liked it or not. And it turns out that when your rear brakes lock, you've got no steering and you fire it off into the gravel. But I will give him
Seriously
1,000 points for trying.
The dust is still clearing down there at turn number 3. Garwood, your winner of this trophy race, a reverse 55% grid race today. Cameron Mason second. Adam Bressington and John Bow third and fourth in this race. Johnson, Hansford, Tobin, back to Gomersall, French, and Cameron Tilley holding down the top 10.
Wow, what a race. Bain and Karen Folosky 11th and 12th. Bowden 13th, but lots of joy from him and his onboard camera. King, Wisely, Beale, O'Brien, Kasulki, Abel, Nika and Williams, the non-finishers, and Bruce Williams will be pretty sore after that one.